Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we cover a new character every week. This week, we're going to be talking about Valkyrie and Elendil, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Savage.
Hello, everyone, and hello to Savage. This is our first time having him on the podcast, and that is crazy this is the first time. He is a cornerstone of our community in the Appalachian area, and he's one of the few people who regularly comes to our South Charleston tournament. So I'm real happy to have him on. He also knows quite a bit about this game, so his opinion is going to matter a lot more than mine. So, hi, Savage. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me on. I think you might give me a little too much credit in the community, but I'll do my best.
I don't think so. All right. Well, let's begin with talking about upcoming events. So coming up on January the 24th, there is a tournament at Old School Games in Toledo, Ohio. This is a Appalachian Cup qualifier, and it is already full, but they have a waiting list. So it is, according to someone in the know there at the store, there is a strong possibility that some of the folks who are currently signed up will not be able to make it. So if you live in the area and want to try to make it into this tournament, you can still get on the waiting list. But it is currently full, and I myself will not be attending because Toledo, Ohio is very far away. All right. Then on February the 21st, there is a tournament at Lost Legion Games in South Charleston, West Virginia. This is our local game shop. This is our Appalachian Cup qualifier. I hope to fill the store. We are looking for 32 people, and right now I think we only have 13. So
13.
Everyone out there, come and join us. What?
I was confirming it was 13, Fred.
Okay, yeah, 13. Yeah, so more people come down to South Charleston. We need all of you to attend. Then on February the 28th, there is a tournament at Fabricators Forge in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is a tournament run by Bryce, and this is going to be a team tournament. There are teams of 3, and it's Highlander rules for characters only. That means you can overlap some tactics cards and some crisis cards, but you cannot overlap characters with the other members of your team. And I kind of want to try and attend this. I will have to work out the details later, probably not on this podcast, but I think this sounds fun. This sounds like a lot of fun. And then coming up on March the 14th is the Spring Akron Brew Brawl. This is a great event, and it is also another Appalachian Cup qualifier. I will attend this event. I believe Brad will as well.
Yeah.
And, I'm really looking forward to it. It's always a lot of fun. And it's in a great venue, and they serve us good food. That's it for the upcoming events. Let's talk about the announcements from AMG. All right, so we now have the official Mighty Avengers character list, and I'm going to throw it over to Brad for that list. Brad, who's in this affiliation?
All of the people that were on the timeline list plus more. So we have Ant-Man, Black Panther Chosen of Bast, Black Widow, Blue Marvel, Captain America Sam Wilson, Captain Marvel Cosmic Avenger, Original Flavor Iron Man, Luke Cage, She-Hulk, Spectrum, and Steve Rogers Captain America Steve Rogers.
Oh man, you said Black Widow. Which Black Widow is that? Is that 4-threat Black Widow or 2-threat or 3-threat?
It's Black Widow, not the Black Widow.
So it's 2-threat Black Widow.
2-threat Black Widow.
Yeah, they haven't made this complicated.
So,
Okay.
what they did was they took all of the Avengers that nobody was playing and they put them in the Mighty Avengers team, except Vision.
Yes, yeah, you're right. That is what they've done.
Well, okay.
Is there?
Cosmic Carol gets played.
Yeah, Cosmic Carol gets played. Iron does 3 Threat Iron Man get played some? I think he does. I could
And
be wrong about that.
maybe a
You bring
little.
him usually for the Helios laser for an easy use of Helios laser.
Speaking of which, I guess I
But
was just wrong there. They do have 2 Helios lasers in faction.
they
Crazy.
do indeed have 2 Helios lasers in faction, which seems you're gonna use one. You're not gonna build up enough to do 2 in one game. It does not seem necessary to bring 2. I don't know. What do you think? So, what are you? Do you think there's a reason they chose all of the characters that are Avengers that nobody plays?
Yeah, they want to see them played.
Right. Well, obviously, but I'm trying to cue you up for a theory that people have that they're maybe thinking about uh, widening, like taking the characters
Oh,
who
that
aren't being
that.
played. Yeah.
Oh, the conspiracy theory that they're gonna
Yeah.
break the Avengers and Cabal apart into multiple factions that I don't actually think is gonna happen, but people on the internet do.
There is a thought that what's happening is they're going to break up the Avengers and the Cabal because they are somewhat bloated with characters at the moment. And in so doing, they will make it more likely that certain characters get played. Like, say, Ant-Man or, you know, Captain America, Steve Rogers, Captain America, or whatever the. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but uh, Steve Rogers 2. But
I
yeah, I mean,
I think it's more likely that the person who makes the PDFs is out of the office.
yeah, that they
Well,
are sick.
I think people still play Sam Wilson quite a bit.
And people
Yes.
play Cosmic Avenger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Luke Cage
And
also sees quite a bit of play.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, actually, you're right.
There's a
Very
couple
good point.
there's a couple in there to get you to play the faction and then you play the ones that no one else is playing. Like to fill out your list. I think that's what they're trying to do.
well,
Entice you to come over.
well, to what Fred said, I mean, that's not a bad plan to get models that are collecting dust to get some play into them, especially if they're going to do these new boxes that have 3, 4 characters in them, or even more sometimes. So it's a way to invigorate the line without reinventing the line. You know what I mean?
Without having to errata them so that they get
Mm.
more play. Yeah. No, and I think it's an interesting thought, and it is absolutely not confirmed. This is a wild conspiracy theory that's floating around. It's not something that is officially stated by AMG. So we're just, I guess, rumor mongering at the moment.
I
But
mean, there are quite a few West Coast Avengers on the Avengers teams.
I don't know what that differentiation is, but yes, like I don't know who's who,
Well,
but
West Virginia, no. In the United States, we have 2 coasts. We have an East Coast and a West Coast. And the West Coast Avengers live on the West Coast.
I see.
California.
It all makes sense now. So the ones who live out there, I see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there any other news? I guess there is more news. They released the cards for the Warriors 3 and for Valkyrie and Elendil. So we are doing Valkyrie today. And we know their release date. It's going to be February the 13th. So coming up soon. We'll have some more Asgardians. And yeah, that's where we're at now. I think that's it for news. So let's move into games that we've played recently. So we just had a tournament in South Charleston, and myself, Brad, and Savage all participated, as did 3 other people. And before we talk about that, I want to throw it to Steven to talk about some games that he played earlier this week. So, Steven, tell us about what you did.
Okay. Well, I went up to Columbia, South Carolina, and I played my good friend Mary. She is getting ready for Adepticon, so she was playing her finely tuned Criminal Syndicate list, and I took an experimental list, which is not such the best idea. But I had a plan, and let's just say it needs a little refinement. But one of the powers I saw on Mephisto is that he can spend a double seal token in the power and drain power from people and do damage to them. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So I went into my Cerebro app and I looked at all the people who can potentially drain power from their opponents. So starting off at 5 threat, I brought in the original MODOK, who has a sap power on his basic attack. I also did Werewolf by Night as a 5 threat because he has his howl that can drain and also put conditions on you. Then I went with Enchantress because when you target her, you have to spend 2 power to target her lower defenses. And she also has a sap power. And she also has character movement and a steal. I picked Dr. Voodoo because he has a sap and his staff of Legba will burn you and you do not gain power for it while taking damage. I took Spider Woman for the effect that she has a steal. She's a long mover. And on her builder, she applies stun before damage is dealt, which is kind of important. And then I also took a Rogue because she has mutant absorption, which drains your power and you do not get power back. She drains power, and if you don't have any power left, she starts doing damage. And if you don't have any power left to drain, that damage that she applies does not gain you power. I took Mysterio, same reasons I took Enchantress, but he's also my little favorite piece to take. I took Deadpool because he drains power also, and then I took Wong. So a very top heavy list. And needless to say, there are a couple of pieces that seem to work very, very well. There are a couple of pieces that seem to be lackluster. I think MODOK's coming out of the list, to tell you the truth. Jury's out on Werewolf. Rogue did fantastic. I never ran Enchantress or Voodoo. Spider-Woman did fantastic. Deadpool was kind of a letdown. And then I never got to run Mysterio or Wong in that situation. So needless to say, some of the results were good. She won both games pretty handily, like 16-12 and 16-11. But I was going against Criminal Syndicate on non-pay to flips and a lot of extracts out there. So,
And is it Kingpin Criminal Syndicate? I take it.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. So, needless to say, I think it needs a little bit of work, but it's really nice when Black Cat doesn't have 2 power to do her little stagger butt thing. So, and Rogue just went up and she had no power after she picked up an extract, and she basically went up and said oogity boogity and did 4 damage to her with no power gain. And that was kind of nice. So
can I suggest Maximus the Mad in your roster? He has suppressive on his builder, which is range 4 Mystic, and his rerolls on enemy attacks can reduce. I guess it does not reduce their current power, but it reduces the damage they deal, which might reduce the amount of power they get. But those rerolls rule.
I do not have him, and I think my 4s are pretty set. They're all pretty good 4s, honestly, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, Spider Woman, you've got Rogue. Those are really solid pieces.
So I'm thinking about taking out Werewolf also and putting Loki, four threat Loki with a gem on him. That can probably do a lot more work. And I think Ghost Rider with his penance stare obviously can do more work. I'm thinking about putting in Gwenpool also instead of uh, Deadpool for the fact that she has webline. So if they start doing spenders on people, and I can just kind of pull them out of the way, and that's power gone also. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then Loki has his, trickster where he can move out of the way if somebody's doing a spender. Um, just little things like that. But um, Mary's biggest complaint was she goes, I don't have enough power to pass these extracts around with Kingpin. So there were some workings of it. I just got to refine it a little bit. That's all. Werewolf was
Yeah.
kind of a disappointment. I'm going to try him again, but the whole shtick with him was, to do a meet my associate, have Werewolf come in and then do an attack back. But his attack backs were not very good, so we'll see.
I feel like Werewolf might see more effect, might be better in a non Kingpin opponent. Like if your opponent isn't playing Kingpin, he may be better off. Just in
Yeah.
the sense that Kingpin probably doesn't care about the attacks they do.
Well, like I said, I'm just going to switch out to Loki and switch out to Ghost Rider, see how that pair does, and maybe I just do a little mix and matching along the way. I think Loki is going to be key because I got to figure out what stone to put on him. I already have Enchantress who does the. I might put the space stone on him so I can get some movement out of my other characters. But I'm kind of looking forward to running the tactics card Giant's Blood, which would be kind of hilarious sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay,
and
all
it
right.
and it puts out Root and Slow, which is not bad.
Right. To further harass your opponent. All right, let's hop into the tournament that we played on Saturday. So myself, Brad, and Savage all participated in a tournament, as did JP, good Brandon, and a friend of theirs that they brought named Justin. Was it Justin? I think it's
Yes.
Justin.
Yes, that's correct.
Uh, okay. And we got in a 3-round tournament, which is always a fun event. So let's take this round by round. My first opponent was Savage. I was paired against Savage in the first round. Um, we were playing on Jailbreak and on Wedding Party at threat value of 20. I was playing Inhumans under Maximus the Mad's leadership. I played Maximus, King Black Bolt. I played Karnak, Gorgon, and Medusa in this game. Savage, what did you play?
I was playing the Guardians of the Galaxy. I had Star-Lord, Rocket, and Nova to make up my Guardians, and then I splashed in 2099 and Red Skull 2.
Yeah, Red Skull 2. And Red Skull 2 did the Lord's work this game. I'll say that. So how this game shook out with Jailbreak, you're kind of like locked into the corners, and I find that kind of annoying. And part of the problem is I stuck Maximus the Mad on one of my jailbreaks, and I left him there for most of the game. I think pretty much the entire game, and that meant that he was not participating in the fight, which was probably a big problem. He would be within range 4 of someone every once in a while and ping some damage, but he was mostly just scoring me a point every round by picking up a jailbreak person. Uh, I think in round 1, I had Gorgon go out pretty far to the wedding party on my left, and I had King Black Bolt stay back, and Medusa and Karnak go to the wedding party on my right. Savage brought his 2099 and Red Skull 2 to my left, and Nova and what's his face? Peter Quill on the right. And then Rocket was also on the left, but Rocket was just sort of present. He played a part later on in the game, but I don't think he did much in round one. But then a few things happened in round one that really mattered for later in the game. Namely, Savage made attacks against Gorgon and against, I think it was against Medusa, or it may have been against Karnak.
You're thinking of turn 2 with Medusa. You hopped King Black Bolt over Medusa and put Black Bolt on the point on turn 1, and Nova pushed him off with a shot.
Right.
The and then 2099 pulled Karnak off your point so that I got both wedding parties on the first turn.
I thought it was you fired at someone and I rolled a skull on my leadership. And
sorry, it was both. Nova shot somebody off, and then you rolled a skull on your leadership as well.
Yeah, I rolled a skull on my leadership, and because I rolled a skull on my leadership on my left side, I was not on the point. And in the first round, Savage scored 6-2, and that is a bad way to start this game for me. I think you also scored. You scored 4 in the second round, and that was like I was not able to fully recover. I wasn't able to get both points, which I really needed to stay in this. So I'm already pretty far behind. Like I'm starting way in a points deficit. And I'm trying to claw my way back for the entirety of this game. And at one point, Spider-Man 2099, I had done him an abnormal amount of damage with an attack from Gorgon. Like, I think I spiked real hard, and I did something like 5 damage against him. And I was able to daze him, and then I did a bunch of damage to him again, and he went down and took out my Maximus the Mad. And in order to stay in this game, I knew that I had to take him out. So Karnak moved twice and used Terrigenesis on him. And that's kept me in this game. Otherwise, I would have lost this game, I think, a round earlier than I did. Spoiler alert, I lose this game. But I successfully Terrigenesis Spider-Man 2099. I hold my own in a couple of these fighting quadrants, even though I'm losing against Red Skull 2 pretty much handily. And at the end of this game, Savage pulls out a win at 17-16. So this was a very close game. I did claw my way back, mostly because of that Terrigenesis play, but I do not pull out the win. Is there anything else that I should mention, Savage?
No, I think the only key thing is that my own tactics card, Call for Backup, is what sealed the game, because Nova survived, and then he was the last one to activate on the second round and shunted everybody away from the wedding party.
Yep, yeah. That was there were a couple places where Nova was just moving all over the place. At one point, Nova beamed Medusa and King Black Bolt, and like one shot Medusa and did a ton of damage to King Black Bolt. Nova's a good model, everybody. He's really solid. Okay, so that was my and Savage's round one. Brad, why don't you tell us about how your round one went?
Well, I played JP. JP was playing Winter Guard, which he played when he first started in the game and hasn't played since. Now that he knows the game better, he's trying them again. We got Montesi and Imkron, and I'm playing a weird Cyclops list. So in this game, I played. See if I can remember. Cyclops, obviously. I played Red Skull 2. I played Sif. So that's 13. And I played Domino and another 3. Because it was 19 points. I don't remember who that 3 is. I'll think of it later. He played, of course, Crimson Dynamo. He played Red Skull. No, not Red Skull. Omega Red. There we go. That's who I'm thinking of. Omega Red. Red Guardian. Abomination. And Hood. And Hood healed a bunch of stuff, bunch of damage throughout the game, and bleed didn't matter because of his leadership, and that was annoying.
Mm-hmm.
The game overall, we were pretty much in parity the whole time. I think it was 4-3 and then 7-7 and then with me ahead and then tied, and then he was 1 point ahead of me the next round, and then turn 4 he won. Omega Red was a menace. So the first round, Sif moved and then charged, was just outside of range to try to flip the Imkron, which was upsetting. But she just one-shot Omega Red, which then gave him enough power to pull all my people off of points the rest of the game. And that's what he did. He could very easily pull, like one turn he pulled 3 people off of an Imkron and then didn't have to roll for the Imkron. Cyclops died.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, Cyclops died incredibly quickly in this game, which was bad. Oh, I played Gambit. That's the other 3 I played. Because Gambit did Days Abomination at one point. And to win this game, I needed to KO Abomination. And I had a shot with one model. I tried with Red Skull. He failed horribly. I guess I could have tried with Gambit instead, and maybe that would have went better, but probably not. I was in a real bad position just from mostly Abomination taking a bunch of my people out throughout the game.
He tends to do that. He's really, yeah.
Well, I would get I think at one point I had 5 or 6 damage on him, and between Hood and Patch Up, he was fully healed again. So I did enough damage throughout the game to kill him, but he had no damage on his flip side at the end of the game anyway. So
that's
That's
heartbreaking.
how it went. Yep.
That's how it goes.
Yep.
That's what Hood's for.
Oh God.
Okay, so at this point, I have lost my game, my round 1. Brad has lost his round 1, and Savage won his round 1. So let's move to round 2. My round 2 opponent was JP, playing Winter Guard, and we were playing on Montesi formula and Extremis, and that's Riot Spark. I think that on Riot Spark, my plan is to go as wide as I can. And so I'm bringing Maximus the Mad, the Dog, Karnak, Gorgon, and Medusa. Is that correct? That is correct. That is 17 points. JP played Crimson Dynamo, Red Guardian, Omega Red, Hood, and one other model who I am forgetting at the moment. But so how this played out, Riots is a D shape, and I moved my dog up to the closest D. My plan is to have the dog stay back and teleport people around, but mostly just score me some points. And Maximus goes to the left hand side, and JP played a denied flank, and he just ignored the right hand or my left hand side entirely. He just did not even commit anybody there. So the entire fight happened on the right hand side or in the middle. I sent Karnak to threaten his back point using the dog. The dog teleported Karnak up, and then Karnak basically just moved as close as he could on round one. He didn't quite make it to contest, but he was up in that region. And then Gorgon and Medusa held my right flank and fought against his models there. Hood in this game spent the entire game in demon form and was mostly not really a huge problem. I was only ever doing him 1 damage at a time, but I was doing a lot of beam and area attacks, so that was fine. Like I feel like Hood wasn't the problem that he was in Brad's game against JP, but Omega Red was. Omega Red was such a huge problem. He dazed Karnak in 1 round, and then he KO'd him at the top of the next round. So Karnak just got dazed and immediately KO'd. Then Omega Red later in the game would move down into the middle and pull my people who've already activated off their points and prevent me from scoring points. Omega Red, he's really good. He's really useful on the field, as it turns out. This game turned into a grind on the right side where it was Gorgon and Medusa fighting against Crimson Dynamo, Red Guardian, Hood, and a 4th model, again, who I'm forgetting who it was. And at one point, Medusa was able to live the dream and did an area 2 attack against 4 models, which felt amazing and did a lot of damage. But it ultimately was not enough to pull me out on that side. This ended up being another game where Maximus the Mad was isolated on one side away from everyone else and essentially did not contribute to the game. And for that reason, I lost. I lost this game. This was, again, a very close game because we were pretty much scoring the same number of points until the very end of the game where the attrition caught up with me and he pulled ahead. And JP scored 17 to my 15. This was a very close game. I got to say, Winterguard's leadership is really good. I kept putting shock out on people, and it kept not mattering because they would immediately just get rid of it. Oh, well. Okay, that was how my second round went. Savage, how did your second round go?
Yeah, so I played against Brandon, who brought his Thralls of Dracula list. We played Scrolls and Intrusions on 20 threat. So everybody knew what was going to happen. It was meet in the middle and punch each other into the face until somebody can't do it anymore. So I brought 2099 and Red Skull again, so it was the exact same list I brought against you. He had to go first, and he decided to bring Blade into the middle of the table to grab his scroll. Unfortunately, he failed the roll, and Blade got drawn in towards 2099. So then 2099 proceeded to move up, shoot him, and get the pursuit trigger. At that point, I moved up almost parallel to Blade, and he chose to use his warpath at that point, which I think was a big downfall for him, because with Dracula, you really want Dracula to be able to use that warpath. Uh, Unfortunately for him, after he moved, 2099 grabbed him and web swung him back towards my line, and that was the beginning of the end for Blade. On my left hand side, he had Bullseye go up and grab a scroll. Everybody failed all the scroll rolls in this game. It was pretty bad. So Bullseye gets moved off the point. Quill runs up to stand on that point because I felt like it was a safe move. And at that point, he took Baron Zemo's I'm a Baron card and rushed me on turn 1. Quill luckily barely survives, so that's a moot point over there. On the right hand side, I did a risky maneuver with Red Skull's boys after that. They moved forward and did the we reroll everything and then explode. They left Blade on 1 hit point, unfortunately, so Red Skull had to go over and punch him in the head. Red Skull grabs his scroll and fails the roll and gets pushed up into range where Dracula can then long move and hit him back. So he gets a couple of chip damage on him, and then Nova jumps forward and gets damage on Dracula and pushes him away and gets him judged. And
Hey, there it
Blade
is.
Dracula, you don't like being judged.
Yeah.
And then Drax just walked over, grabbed a scroll, and stood on a point. So he's the first person in the game to actually, and the only person in the game to successfully wrangle a scroll. Because he brought 6 characters, he also had one last character to go. I leave Rocket just off in the back, doing nothing but taking pot shots at Drax. But he also has Scourge the Executioner, who moves up into bodyguard range, or reverse taunt, whichever one he has. And that sets him up for the next turn where I can't kill Blade off, or in theory, can't kill Blade off. Turn 2, I go first. I use Call for Backup, just like I did against you, to get Scourge out of the way so that Nova can beat up on Blade. And with his token, he proceeds to take Blade out of the game at the top of 2.
Nice.
He then retaliates by doing Mist Form on Dracula, who pops up and has enough power at that point to use his Spender on Red Skull and just absolutely crushes him. He gets 10 damage through after I block 3, so Red Skull's just gone for round 2. Unfortunately, Peter Quill gets real mad and shoots both Bullseye and Zemo to death. One with the Spender and the other with just a standard shot and a reroll token. So at that point, Spider-Man teleports through the portal, punches Drax in the head, and pulls him off the point. And I am up pretty far because Drax couldn't make it to the point. So I believe I scored 5 that round, 5 or 6. And he just couldn't recover after that. I basically ignored Dracula the entire game, and he couldn't get enough power on Drac to use his Spender again. So I ended up winning on points, 16-10, in the 4th round.
I'm always happy to see Dracula get beat. Dracula is so frustrating to play against. It's just nice to hear that he can be defeated.
Just give him judgment and then ignore him.
Right? That's the trick. Okay. Well, congratulations on your second win, Savage. Brad, how did your second round go?
I played Justin, who's pretty new to the game. This was, I believe, his first tournament. And he was playing Midnight Suns. Uh, we got Hammers and Wedding Party. So we did 20 threat. I played a very similar list. I just changed Domino into Psylocke. So I also had Cyclops, Red Skull 2, Gambit, Sif. He played uh, Elsa Leadership, Man Thing, Immortal Hulk, Iron Fist, Wong. Um, he's had enough games now that it seemed like the base rules he's pretty okay with. I mean, I think we had to talk about um, where to push so that he could get the result he wanted, stuff like that. And he didn't know his characters as well as he could, which I helped with him as much as I could with that. So, like, he didn't give Iron Fist 2 power on the first turn, and Iron Fist is a character I do know, so we corrected that and whatnot. Um, he gave Iron Fist a third power with Wong, so Wong didn't get on the point. Iron Fist did, but how did I pushed him off with Cyclops at the end of the round. Um, and I didn't need to do that because I had Sif and Gambit on the point. So I got that point, but you know, I I had a free pot shot at him. I took it. Uh, Immortal Hulk didn't make it to the point. He was just out. Uh, on the other side, um, he put Man Thing on the point, but didn't put Elsa. And I had Psylocke there. She got the hammer, and I put the grunts on the point, which I mean that's enough already. But then, so I just took a shot with Red Skull and managed to push Man Thing off the point and get the Blitz to move on to the point. So I ended up with 3 hammers and both wedding parties in the first round. So
Oh, wow.
I went up 7-1 in the first round. And from then on, Justin was doing a really good job um, in the middle of the field and on my left, where like Red Skull and stuff were, of like attritioning me hard. But Gambit single handedly handled Iron Fist and Wong no problem. Sif never made an attack. In fact, she only had one opportunity to. Iron Fist was at 1 health, getting ready to daze, and had already gone and was pushed off the point by Gambit. Uh, and I chose not to attack so that he would be at 1 hit point on the start of the next turn because he had enough power to activate a model. But Hulk was also at 1 health that round. So
Mm-hmm.
he was going to have to choose to do one of those things, and I was going to take the other one off the table. He chose Hulk, who
Correctly.
Dazed Psylocke picked up 2 hammers and then KO'd Cyclops to pick up a 3rd hammer. So
Holy crap.
it was probably the right choice, but then Gambit threw a card at Wong, KO'd Wong, and because the explosive is before damage, dazed Iron Fist. So I'd completely won that side. And so it didn't matter what happened anywhere else. I think that was enough to win the game at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I still dazed Hulk with Red Skull and picked up his hammers because I ended up winning this 20-4. But some of this was him not having the experience to play scenario hard enough. But a lot of it was really just bad luck on his part because I ended up, every time he put a model on the scenario, I pushed him off of it.
Right, with Red Skull 2 and with Cyclops and the regular pushes that you have access to.
Yeah, and Gambit.
Yeah.
So that hurt a lot. He got to move the things every time, and he prioritized doing damage to my people instead of putting it in good spots for him to get on. So that also hurt him long run. He probably should have taken a little bit of chip damage to get his people on the wedding parties, which he realized after the game. He was like, that was a mistake. And I'm like, yeah, you could have done a little bit better with that. But also, I just pushed you off the point a whole bunch. So.
Well, good job winning your second round, Brad. Let's move into the third round of this tournament. So in my third round, I played against Justin, Brad, the person who Brad previously played. And Justin played exactly the same roster into me. He played, we were playing on Wedding Party and Scrolls at 20 threat.
One more thing real quick. I don't know if Justin listens to the podcast or not, but if he did, you should have played Blade. That would have made it a lot easier to stay on that moving point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought of that, like, after he had left.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. He did a much better job of staying on it in his game against me than he did in his game against you.
Good.
He learned the lesson. So we also played Wedding Party and we played Scrolls. He played Elsa Bloodstone, Man Thing, Immortal Hulk, Iron Fist, and Wong. And I played Maximus the Mad, King Black Bolt, Karnak, Gorgon, and Medusa. And Medusa and Immortal Hulk took the two middle scrolls, and Medusa got punched but didn't get dazed. So I lucked out there. And Gorgon and Maximus the Mad went left, while King Black Bolt and Karnak went right. Then in round 2, Medusa and Hulk both ended up heading towards my right wedding party. Medusa activated he activated Hulk and didn't finish Medusa off. He hopped over and went after King Black Bolt. I think that was a little bit of an error, but I think that it wasn't necessarily wrong because King Black Bolt also had a scroll, and he wanted to get some punches in on my big target instead of spending a punch to do 1 damage to Medusa. But that meant that Medusa could head over there. He did not take out King. Oh, actually, yes, he did. He dazed King Black Bolt this turn. So King Black Bolt is off the table in round 2. I mean, he's dazed in round 2. He's not off the table. But Medusa comes over. Medusa attacks and dazes Iron Fist. And Karnak starts punching Hulk and starts putting weakness tokens on Immortal Hulk. And Karnak does great in this game. I've been contemplating cutting Karnak from my roster. Largely, listen, I like Karnak a lot. I think he's fun. I like when he has a really big spike potential on damage, and it really helps when he's punching Immortal Hulk. Like, he is a person who can punch Immortal Hulk and not immediately get taken out. However, his problem is that he is slow. He does not have action compression. He wants to be able to punch a person once and give them a weakness token and then do a follow-up attack. And it's really rare that he actually gets to do that because he's oftentimes having to move first to get into range to punch somebody. So I've been feeling like getting rid of Karnak. However, in this game, in his fight against Immortal Hulk, at one point he does 9 damage to Immortal Hulk using his spender and KOs him. I am able to KO Immortal Hulk in this game, which is not easy to do, and the biggest reason I was able to do that is because of Karnak. So I'm still debating it. I do think that Karnak should probably come out of the roster, but I just like him. I just like him. Anyway, on the left-hand side, on the other side, Maximus the Mad and Elsa Bloodstone are fighting along with Man-Thing and Gorgon. And I'm pretty much losing, although I dazed both of them. Both of my guys get dazed as well. And he is ultimately going to win on that side in fighting. On the other side, I pull out the victory. However, he has Wong, and Wong is unbelievably lucky this game. I throw a ton of attacks into Wong. Wong caught the beam attack from King Black Bolt twice, 4 times actually. I just because of bad luck, I don't roll much damage into him, and Wong heals himself on his activation every time. So I'm regularly making attacks into Wong, and he is not dazing, just because I can't roll damage against him. Karnak KOs Immortal Hulk with a spender, looks at Wong, does a punch at Wong, does no damage. It's wild that Wong is the guy who is giving me so much trouble. And it creates a huge problem when I go to score the point and Wong is the only healthy model close to the point. And Wong scores the point for multiple rounds when it's just Wong standing there and a bunch of Inhumans who somehow cannot kill him. So I end up losing this game 18-16 because I cannot daze Wong. And that's unfortunate, but that's the game sometimes. I do have to say, Justin, he played correctly. He made good choices all around. There were a few style of play things that he could have maybe done a little bit better, but that'll come with experience, and he's got people who know what they're doing training him with JP and with Better Brandon. So I feel like he's on track to be a pretty good player, be on track to be a contender. So I lose this game and I go 0-3 in this tournament. However, I do want to say that I felt like I did not get blown out in any game that I played. And that I don't feel bad about any of the games I played. So there's that at least. All right. Savage, how did your round 3 go?
Well, I can't say the same. I played against JP in round 3. We did Legacy Virus and the Imcron Crystals at 19 threat. So I bring a speedy list, a list that can move around the board and, flip those crystals. So I've got Star-Lord, Agent Venom, Yondu, 2099, and Zemo. So I've got a lot of guys who can get to the other side of the board, no problem. And JP's got Abomination, Dynamo, Red Guardian, Omega Red, and he brings Hood. And I go first. Or no, he goes first and picks up the left-hand scroll, and I pick up the opposite scroll with Star-Lord. I then move up and have Yondu take a shot into Omega Red. And I give Omega Red slow and do no damage. So this is the start of my terrible, terrible rolling for this round. And obviously slow means nothing to Omega Red, especially in a Red Guardians list. He then moves A-Bomb up to the middle, grabs the middle virus. Spider-Man rolls up, shoots at him, does nothing. So I decide not to try and pull him, and I use my pursuit trigger to just move closer to the Yondu side of the board. Agent Venom hops up, flips the crystal, takes a pot shot at uh, Abomination, and does the worst thing he can do. He deals 1 damage, giving him 2 power.
Hmm.
And so I score a whole 3 points on turn 1, and these are the most points I'll score all game.
Oh
Turn
man.
two, turn two, Spider-Man tries to go up and flip the point across from Yondu, fails the roll, fails to do any damage to Red Guardian because he counts as blanks, and even with my Pierce, nothing gets through because he just counts the blanks. A-Bomb goes, pushes Agent Venom off the point, and takes my point. Agent Venom tries to counter and get his point back and fails the roll. And doesn't do any lasting damage to Abomination. Zemo, after I think he takes some shots at Star-Lord next. So Zemo rushes the opposite point where Dynamo's at and fails to flip that point with a charge.
Oh man.
Yeah. And so that's how that round goes. It just nothing works. I try to flip 4 points, fail all 4 flips. He moves up, punches Yondu with Red Guardian, shoves him off the point automatically, and takes my point for free. So he has all 4 points in round 2. Uh, the only roll all game where I do more than 3 damage is Yondu's plunder goods turn, where Zemo is standing next to him in round 3. Because Zemo rushes back to try and help his friend. Uh, so the first shot, it takes 2 shots to take Red Guardian down, the second of which is the Akka arrow. So that is the most damage I do all game. The shot into Omega Red, I have the Guardian's reroll token, I have the Pirate's Way reroll, the Zemo reroll, and the Plundered Goods reroll. And I roll a single hit
Oh god.
on 6 dice.
Man.
So that was the worst roll of the game. But everything just went like that. I ended up losing 16-5 because I tried 7 flips and failed all of them.
That I gotta say, like McCran crystals, and I had the same problem with sword base. Is at a certain point, it's always a 50-50 shot, and if the dice tell you you fail, it really can feel bad. It can you can get a real bad feeling on McCran crystals.
So I didn't give JP a very good game at the end. I had 2 flipped characters. He had 1 damage on Crimson Dynamo, 3 damage on Abomination, 3 damage on Hood, and 1 damage on Omega Red. And Red Guardian flipped the round the game ended. So
Oh
I
boy.
even with my I'm gonna reroll a bunch and punch you in the face list, I did not in fact punch him in the face.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. That sucks. That's just unfortunate dice.
I mean, at some point though, it gets hilariously funny that they're that bad.
Yeah. It becomes a comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear you lost. Brad, how did your round 3 go?
I'm so glad that you waited till after the final to get to this game that really matters, Fred. So
You're welcome.
I played Brandon, who was discussed earlier as playing Dracula. Um, we get Montesi and Marifisk, and I choose 16 points. Mostly so I don't have to get models out of my bag. So I dropped Sif for my 20-point list. So I have Cyclops, Red Skull 2, Psylocke, and Gambit. He plays Dracula, Venom. I already hate this. Blade, Drax. I think that's it. Yeah, because he had 4 models and I had 5, counting the grunts, and he said no, you have 4 and a third models. I don't remember much before what had to have been like round 3. In round 3, he dazes like all my models except kills Cyclops, of course, and he ends up scoring the entire field, 8 points. That is not enough to win. So we must have been tying on the Mayor Fisk every round, up to that point. Because that puts him up to like 13, and at this point I have like 6 or 7. So it must have been a very low scoring game before then. But I don't remember. We did some smacking back and forth. And then I am at a major disadvantage trying to claw back into this game. I score up to 9 points 4th round, so not very many, but I keep him from winning, and he goes to 15. So I fought real hard. And then I do big gambles the last round, round 5. If I can somehow kill all his models, which means the grunts with 1 attack have to daze a 1 health Dracula. Instead, Dracula eats the grunts and heals 3. So that was probably the end of the game right there. And then Red Skull has to take out 1 to 2 models, and then Psylocke has to take out 1 to 2 models, depending on how many Red Skull got, for me to win this game. And clearly that didn't happen, and I lose 20-9 because I didn't score a single point the last round. Pretty sure.
Oh man. Oh.
Yeah. Brandon was very much in control of this game the entire time.
It's Dracula, man. Dracula is such a pain in the butt.
It went real bad for me.
Yeah. Okay,
even though I was like optic blasting the range 5 beam, several guys. Gambit got to beam several guys, and I still got nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm sorry to hear it, man.
Yeah, it's fine.
So that means that the winner of this tournament is JP. So congratulations to JP. He did very well this tournament, and Winter Guard are really good. I kind of underestimated them.
All our listeners,
okay,
all our listeners assumed that Savage had won this tournament.
They did
until we got to the end.
You're right. I should have done his game last. I just was not thinking.
It's fine, Fred. You've only been doing this for years.
We all know that I'm bad at this. We don't know why I'm still doing it. Okay. On that note, let's move on to the person that we're here to cover today. That person being Valkyrie and Elendil, otherwise known as Valkyrie. Valkyrie and Elendil's defenses are 4 physical, 3 energy, and 3 mystic. They have 6 stamina on both sides of their card. They are a size or a threat value of 4, size 4, and a medium mover. They are on a large base, and they are associated with the Asgard affiliation. Brad, why don't you do her attacks?
Her first attack is Physical Dragon Fang, range 2, 5 dice, cost 0, gained power equal for damage dealt, and hit Elusive, which is after attack is resolved, this character may advance short. Physical Greer, range 3, 4 dice, cost 0, gain a power. If this character has advanced or been placed this turn, it may add 3 dice to this attack roll. The special rule can be used only once per turn. And Wild Vault, after attack is resolved, place this character within range 2 of the defender. Am I doing all the attacks?
Yeah.
Okay. Physical Fury of the Valkyrie. I don't know. It's the
Valkyrie.
Sure, what Fred said. Range 3, 5
Yeah.
dice, 4 cost. Add dice equal to the defender's threat value, and double hit stagger after the attack is resolved.
Okay, Steven, why don't you do the first 2 superpowers?
All right. First, we have an active superpower called Take Wing. Place this character within 2 of itself. Superpower can be used once per turn. It will cost you 3 power. And then a reactive Need a Lift. Costs 2 power. During its activation, when this character begins a move action within 2 of another allied character of size 3 or less, it may use the superpower. After that move action is resolved, place that allied character within 2 of its current position. This superpower can be used only once per turn.
And Savage, why don't you finish out the card?
All right, Valkyrie is the Guardian of Valhalla. When another allied non-grunt character is dazed or KO'd, this character gains 1 power and may remove a damage or 1 special condition from itself. Valkyrie is also an Asgardian, so during the power phase, this character gains 1 additional power, and then additionally, there is flight.
Okay, so that is Valkyrie and Elendil. What is everyone's first thought here looking at the character card? What are your first take here, Savage? What do you think about this?
So Valkyrie is essentially going to be a support model for the heavy hitting Asgardians. She's able to get around the board quite quickly with Take Wing and Vault and Elusive all stacking up and helping her get from place to place, and also to assist with that Need a Lift. She has 2 powers, so she starts with that Need a Lift online. So this will let her get where she needs to go. And then she has a little bit of survivability with her Guardian of Valhalla, but I don't see that proccing more than 3, maybe 4 times a game in any relevant, meaningful way for her.
Right. Yeah, she's so mobile. Like she has all the mobility things, and she is on a large base. So the place within 2 is a huge amount of movement. That is a lot of movement that you can get out of that. Brad, what do you think about this card?
She does feel very much like a skirmisher, like she's going to be moving around and attacking, especially with that secondary attack, that 3 extra dice. 7 dice at range 3 is a pretty good attack. And then
For 0 power.
For 0 power, and you get a place off of it. So, yeah, it feels like she's going to move around a lot, and be just wherever you need her to be, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Steven, what do you think about this card?
I think she is pretty darn good. Excuse me. Not over the top, like Shang-Chi or Bill, even Voodoo, but she has a purpose, and she fulfills it very, very well. And I think you'll see her splashed in a lot of teams that need help with movement on their characters, because she provides a lot of good action compression, not for herself, but also for those other models that are a little bit more static.
Yeah, the fact I think Savage already said it, that Need a Lift is active round 1. Like she can come off the starting line and drag someone range 2 forward with her. which is really good.
I
I
think
think
she
that's a great ability.
I think she has potential to be splashed just for that ability.
Oh yeah, I agree. And she's good. That's another thing is that her attacks are good. We should talk about her spender. It is a cost 4 spender that uh it scales with the threat of the person you're attacking. I really like this effect. That means like if she's attacking Immortal Hulk, she's throwing 12 dice. That's a lot of dice for 4 power. And not a whole lot of setup. You just need the 4 power. I think that's really solid. I like this character. I think she's got some real potential on the battlefield. Okay, there are some tactics cards that we should talk about. Brad, do you happen to have what the first one is? I'm in the process of pulling it up. I apologize. I did not have this ready.
The first one's called
That doesn't make
Ride of
sense.
the Valkyries. I had to look it
Ride of
up.
the
I
Valkyries.
had to look it up too, Fred.
Yeah, you beat me to it. Okay, Ride of the Valkyries. It is an Asgard active tactics card. During Valkyrie and Elendil or Brunhilde's activation, one or both of those characters may each spend 4 power to play this card. Each character that spent power to play this card drops all objective tokens they are holding, then place each of those characters within range 3 of its current position. Finally, each of those characters may make an attack at a cost of 0. I mean, this is nifty. This is neat. It is expensive, but it is expensive for a free attack. That's absolutely worth doing. And okay, it is if you do it with both of them. So can you do it with both of them? It says or one or both.
Both
Yeah,
of the
you can do it
characters.
with both of them. Yeah, so whomever you're doing it not on the activation of is getting a free attack.
Yep.
I guess it costs 4, but it's an out of activation attack. That's nifty. I like that. Here's my question: do you ever take this card?
Okay, Fred.
Uh,
I'm just going to get a scenario here. You only have new Valkyrie. It's her activation. You pay 4. You place her within range 3, and then do 3 7-die attacks where you get to place within
you,
2 of
you,
the target.
it's only a 7-die attack the first time because it says this ability can only be activated once on that
Once per
act.
turn. So you actually
Once
play
per
this on Brunhilde's turn. That
There
way,
it is.
place
There it is.
Valkyrie. That turn she gets a 7, and then if she has the power to jump on her own turn,
It does
she
say
then
only
will do
once per
another one.
turn. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you can
That's
still get 2 of those in a round with this card.
yeah.
That's true.
That's
True.
stupid that extra dice is only once per turn.
I think that's a balancing reason because
I
I
hate
think that
that.
they had this be an issue earlier. Like if you could do what you just said, it would be incredible. Like the ability to throw out 3 7-dice attacks at a cost of 4 power, and you get to place yourself and then place yourself possibly on every one of those attacks. That is way too good.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
still really good.
Okay, this card
It's
isn't
still
as good
really
as
good.
I thought. It also makes me sad that when we eventually get Valkyrie Jane Foster, she will not be able to play this card.
Oh yeah. I should say we didn't say it when we were talking about her card, but I think this model pairs with original Valkyrie like peanut butter and jelly. At the beginning, you can drag original Valkyrie up range 2, and then original Valkyrie can charge and possibly make 2 attacks in round 1 if they have someone on the midline. That's really good. Yeah. But what is everyone's take on this tactics card? So I like this tactics card. I think it's really good. the question is, does it compete with some of the other really big Asgardian tactics cards? Because this is Asgard specific. And while this effect is really strong, I think you do take this in your 10. And there are circumstances where you will play this in your 5. If you are playing both of these models, you might want to take this. But if you don't have both of them on the table, I don't think you take this card. I think you need both of them to justify taking it. What do you think about this, Savage? What do you think?
So I think it's a really good card if you have both, like you said, or if you're playing on a D where either of these characters would like to shunt across the board, make a free attack, and then do whatever they need to do. Um, Other than that, I don't know if you take it with Valkyrie herself, but this is a good card to take if you're bringing Brunhild. She generates a lot of power, especially with her Warrior of Legend, and so she will reliably have the power to use on this. Whereas I don't see Valkyrie reliably having the 4 power that you want to spend on this card because she just has so many other things she wants to dump power into.
That is something that I should have brought up. Is I think she's power starved. Even with her little extra generating of power every time someone is dazed, she will not have enough power to get everything she wants done. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Steven, what do you think about this card?
Well, let me ask you something, Fred. If when you were playing your Midnight Suns, Siege of Darkness cost 4 power for each character, but you got a medium move off of it, would you still take it?
Yeah, I would. I would absolutely take it.
That's my argument. So,
So you're saying this is an absolute inclusion?
especially
Yeah,
recognizing what Savage said, if you do have both, yes.
yeah, that is fair. Okay. All right. Well, that's that card. There is another tactics card that's affiliated with Valkyrie and Elendil. That tactics card is called Warrior's Frenzy. It is unaffiliated and reactive. When Valkyrie and Elendil dazes or KOs an enemy character with an attack during their activation, after that attack is resolved, Valkyrie and Elendil may spend 3 power to play this card. This character may advance short. Then this character may choose an interactive terrain feature or an enemy character, both of size 3 or less and within range 2, and throw it medium. I mean, it's a throw, and it's a 3-cost throw that you can only make after you daze or KO somebody, and it's on a tactics card. A throw is good, and it could be a really good way to displace somebody, but I think this one has a lot less use than the previous one. Now, tell me I'm wrong, everybody. Brad, what do you think about this card?
You're wrong, Fred.
Okay.
I don't know why, but you told me to tell you that. Throws are good. I think that this being so conditional makes it maybe not that desirable.
Oh yeah, okay. That's what, like, a throw is good. The throw is not bad. It's just this. You have to daze or KO somebody to use it, and then you have to spend 3 power, and you do get a free move out of it. You get a short move, but I mean, I don't know if this is worth the tactics card slot. What do you think, Savage? What do you think about this?
So the ideal scenario for Warrior's Frenzy is you have, let's say we're playing Portals. That's probably the ideal scenario here. You've got her on the middle portal,
Do you
within
mean
range.
intrusion?
Yeah, intrusions. Sorry,
Okay.
they're portals, so I just call them portals.
Right.
Yeah, you do intrusions across the middle, so you've got your ability to portal if needed. But that's the one where you've got a line, and that's where she's going to shine with this card. If you have somebody on the far point who is damaged down to like 1 hit point, you use gear, which is guaranteeing you that 3rd power. You hit them at range, deal damage, then you make your small advance, throw them off the midpoint, and then that procs your gear up to 7 dice on the far side, and you shoot the other direction. And if you get your wild, you teleport over. If you don't, you just use the actual portal to teleport over. And that has a 3 point shift uh, for her. That would be the absolute best case scenario for this card, is that you knock somebody out who's at low health, throw somebody off a point, and then stand on a different point.
I mean, that is the ideal circumstance for this card.
Now, how well that actually, plays out in reality is probably pretty slim.
Right. That's a Rube Goldberg machine. But I mean, it is a throw. It will be useful. This card will be useful. It's not something that's pointless. It's not a joke of a card. But I just don't know if it's competing with things that Asgard loves, like Odin's Blessing, and I can't think of more off the top of my head, but Asgard has a bunch of really good tactics cards. So,
Well,
The card wants her to be a beater, but she is not a beater model.
right.
the thing I'll say is I think this card does not see play and probably goes to the back of your tactics cards that you don't use because she's in a faction that has a lot of throws.
Mm-hmm. This is an unaffiliated tactics card, so maybe this will get played in when you splash her. Maybe this is a splash tactics card.
Cards are so tight nowadays.
They really are. It is hard. You used to be able to say something like, "I'll take her in Dracula, in Thralls of Dracula." They don't have a whole lot of tactics cards, but like even there, you have tactics cards that you want to use, and I don't know if this is the effect that you want out of the tactics cards that you were given. I just feel like this tactics card is not going to see much play, even how good it is. All right. Are there any other tactics cards that are associated with her?
No,
I don't
but
think there are.
There is a generic Asgard card that they released that we haven't talked about. So we could talk about that right now.
Okay. Is that the one that is it's a quest?
It's
this wild quest.
Deeds Worthy of Song. It's an
That's
Asgard
what it
reactive card.
Yeah, let's talk about this. This one's all right. I will read this. This is a book and a half, everybody, so bear with me. Deeds Worthy of Song. It is Asgard and reactive. During the power phase, an allied Asgard character may play this card. When this card is played, set it near the battlefield instead of discarding it. The first time each of the following conditions is met, put one worthy deed token on the card. Slay the monster. An allied character KOs an enemy character that has a threat value of 5 or more. Drive out the invaders. 2 or more enemy characters are dazed or KO'd by collisions during an allied character's activation. Protect the small. An allied character dazes or KOs 2 or more enemy characters during its activation and ends that activation within range 2 of another allied character that has a threat value of 2 or less. That or less is very questionable. Ragnarok. An allied character is dazed or KO'd, and 2 or more other allied characters have been dazed or KO'd this round. If this card has been played during any cleanup phase, you may remove 2 worthy deed tokens from this card and discard it. If you do, score 2 victory points. All right. So, this is a fun little quest that you can go on to try and get. A lot of these are really hard to actually accomplish. I don't know. Do you know if Asgard wants to have any 2s? I mean, obviously, sometimes you want to have a 2, but I don't see them playing around with Bullseye all that often.
No, they run Toad.
I don't know. Toad, okay.
I'm just kidding, Fred. I don't know. I don't know what Asgard players are playing.
I don't either. So I feel like Protect the Small is incredibly hard to get. An allied character dazes or KOs two or more enemy characters during its activation. That's already hard to do. And then you have to end within range 2 of a character that is threat value of 2 or less. I don't even know why they put the term or less there.
Future
But they
proofing.
did. Yeah, sure. Okay. Um, that is really hard to do. That is a hard thing to accomplish. Then there's another one, which is two or more enemy characters dazed or KO'd by collisions during an allied character's activation. Really hard to accomplish. How do you? I guess you throw one person who has one hit point into a person that has two hit points and hope that they don't. I guess that's not as crazy as I've been saying, as I've been thinking. That's not impossible. Slay the monster, that will likely happen with Asgard, and then Ragnarok, that could happen too. But if there's a rubber band swing against you, that could trigger. I
Well,
don't. All
Fred,
right. What do you guys think
you can
about that?
only slay the monster if your opponent plays something.
A threat, right?
Yeah.
If they have a threat value of five
And
or
you have to
more,
KO them.
yeah, you can't just daze them. You have to KO them. I mean, again, Asgard can KO a five threat model. Like, if your opponent has a five threat model,
Yeah.
I have no doubt that they can accomplish that one. Um, what do you think about this card? I think this card is way too much trying to actually like you're going to spend too much time trying to accomplish these deeds and you're going to lose the game because of it. And I think that these deeds are too hard to accomplish for just 2 victory points. I could be wrong, but
I'll pull a card out of Steven's playbook for you, Fred. How often do you see the High Council get played?
that's the what's it called? The
The
Hydra
Hydra
one?
card where you've got to jump through 17 hoops to do something as well.
Uh honestly, so that's is the answer you're looking for not frequently because the person Mike, one of the people who sometimes plays and sometimes plays Hydra, does regularly play the High Council.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't play the High Council.
He used to.
Okay. I haven't seen him play that in a long time.
Okay, well, is your point that it does not get played much?
It just doesn't.
Yeah,
Anything that has multiple hoops you have to jump through that your opponent can easily break your streak if they see that you're going for that effect are just not functional. Because if they know that you've got a two threat character on the board and that you might be, trying to end your turn within two of that guy, they're just going to try and knock him out or move him out of place. They can easily move their five threat from being KO'd. It takes a little bit of running away, but you're going to lose the game trying to set all these weird things up, in my opinion.
right. Yeah, I agree. Um, I like this card. It's fun. Um a friendly game card. This is a game that this is a card you play at your kitchen table with your friends, not a competitive card. What do you think about it, Steven?
Um, well, I agree with Savage, but you know what? Our community is growing, it's getting larger, it's getting more diverse, and there might be a time when somebody comes up with a plan that this card can work. Jury's still out, but I'm going to agree right now that you don't take it. But somebody might have that tech, like somebody found the, Red Skull, Baron Zemo, Thanos Cabal list at 15, right? And then all of a sudden everybody's running it. So I'm going to put it in that category, potential, but not realized yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's any victory point scoring is good, but I feel like this is the card you don't want to play.
You take mind games over this one, right?
Uh-huh. I love mind games. Don't like that's a great one. That's my favorite one.
I
All
know,
right.
Fred. That's why I mentioned it.
Yep. uh, that's pretty much it for
Am I not going to get to talk
Valkyrie.
about this one?
Oh, Brad, what do you think about this one?
Because I figured out when you play this card. Okay.
Oh, when do you play this card?
All right. When you're running a for fun league and you let everybody try to accomplish this, regardless of faction.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's what I said. You play it for fun. You don't play it competitively. Yeah, but it's just it feels like it's too high. They put the hurdles just a little bit too high on this one.
I know how that feels.
When you used to run hurdles, didn't
I
you?
did.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for Valkyrie and Elendil. We need to give a letter grade to this model. So I think she's really good. I think she has a lot of hit potential and she has a lot of tech potential. I think she's going to get splashed in places just because her little drag someone along range 2 is online round 1. I think she's a very good model. I'm going to give her a solid A. That is where I am. Brad, what do you think about this model?
Let's go with A.
Okay. Steven, what do you think about her?
I think I'm going to go B plus. All depends on her affiliations. Honestly, to tell you the truth, we know Asgard, right? But I don't. I remember the famous Defenders comic book cover that had her flying in on Elendil, and she was announced as a Defender.
That's not this character.
Okay.
That is not this version of the character.
I understand, but you know which one I'm talking about. So they swapped it out. They did it wrong. Oh,
And Savage, what are you gonna give as a grade for this character?
A two-part grade. I think in her own in-house faction, she's only a B, but in a splash, she brings a lot of utility to the table. So I think she's an A plus support for other things, especially like she'll do great in Mighty Avengers, since Spectrum can boost her abilities. Anywhere that can shunt her more power to help her do things, I think she'll shine. But in actual Asgard, I think she's just a solid B.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna let it stand. All right. So that's our take on Valkyrie and Elendil. Brad, do you have any comic book recommendations that feature this character?
I do, and mine are going to feature this exact character, the Valkyrie based on Tessa Thompson, the one that that has a dragon fang sword and Greer, whatever that is. That was in the comics. I don't know what it was, even though I read this comic. And
isn't
that
isn't that a spear, Brad?
maybe I don't remember. She had weapons. Um, there's actually two characters based on Tessa Thompson's character. This specific one has only ever shown up in one series called Exiles, Volume 3 from 2018. They later added another version to the main universe because the Exiles one is not from the main universe. That first appears in King in Black Return of the Valkyries miniseries. Has been in a couple series since. But her sword is not called Dragon Fang. So it can't be that version that we're getting in the game. Exiles by Saladin Ahmed and Javier Rodriguez is a group of superheroes from different universes that are often different versions of characters we already know from the main universe. And they go around universe to universe. This is a good opportunity to like do fun stuff. Like one of the universes this team of exiles goes to is Wild West themed. And so the Brotherhood of Mutants is an outlaw gang. and
Yeah.
Magneto uses his magnet powers to shoot lots of guns floating in the air, sort of thing. These exiles are trying to figure out what is unraveling the multiverse and fix it, specifically. And the team includes Old Woman Kamala Khan, Blink, who was in the original Exiles, Iron Lad, and I don't remember if this is an alternate version Iron Lad or Iron Lad from the main universe. I don't remember. I didn't look. This Valkyrie, and Wolvie, who is like a kid's cartoon version of Wolverine.
Okay. It's all characters that are kind of out of their time. It's Iron Lad, who's an out of time Kang. It's old woman
Kamala Khan from a different
Mrs.
universe.
Marvel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel.
And so she is an old woman as opposed to a high school kid.
Yep.
Oh boy.
And Wolvie is like,
And Wolvie.
his universe, people don't fight. Everyone just kind of gets along and hangs out and has picnics and has fun. And he's like 2 feet tall. He like comes up to all the other characters like knees.
Because Wolverine is short in our universe, and so he's short in kids' universe too.
But all the characters from his universe are like his height.
Okay.
They are very much like cartoons in his universe.
This is a wild.
It's the chibi universe then.
It is kind of chibi-ish.
Chibi universe.
This, I remember really, I haven't read this in a couple years. I remember really liking this series. I thought it was pretty good. Other people joined the team later, and maybe some of these people leave the team. So, yeah, it was a good one. You should read it.
Okay.
It's the only place that this version of the character exists.
Right. Okay. So did this character get created for Thor Ragnarok or for the Thor movies?
This character was created in response to Tessa Thompson's character in Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok. So, and like I said, they ended up doing this twice because they made one from a different universe, kind of tested the waters, and then they just added one to the main universe, and it's not the same character.
Okay.
For
all right.
reason.
Well, the only thing that's left is my non sequitur recommendation. So Tessa Thompson played this character in Thor Ragnarok and Thor Blood and Thunder. So I was looking through her filmography, and some standouts were Creed, and she was in a Men in Black movie. I believe that I have already suggested that people watch both of those things, both the original Men in Black and Creed. So I'm at a bit of a loss here for Tessa Thompson projects. So what I'm going to say is right now there is a second season of both Fallout and of an anime that I very much loved called Freerun Beyond Journey's End that have just started coming out this past month. And if you have not watched Freerun Beyond Journey's End, it is a fantastic anime about an elf who in the very first episode defeats the villain of the world. And it is filled with so much heart and so much of her wisdom and perspective that it is my favorite anime that I may have ever watched. And that's saying something because I watched some of the really big ones. So that's what I'm going to suggest that people watch. those season 2 of both of those shows. And that is it for us today. I want to say thank you to Savage for joining us, and thank you to Brad and Steven for showing up. And thank you out there to everyone who is listening for listening. I am bad at this, as previously stated in this episode, so I'm just going to say goodbye and have good games of Marvel Crisis Protocol.